Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of JoeScentMe. My name is Joe and I am your host for today. Today I want to talk to you about Gallivant Stories. Gallivant Stories is a niche perfume company that right now has only 4 fragrances in their house, and it was started by a nice young guy called Nick Stewart. And he is a wonderful guy, by the way. Lots of experience. You can look him up and do some research on him. You can see where he came from and you'll understand that this guy has a lot of experience when it comes to perfume making, and he was a wonderful person to talk to. I've been wanting to try these fragrances for such a long time because I've been seeing lots of wonderful reviews. So I want to tell you about my experience, how I felt about these fragrances and what my thoughts were. Like I mentioned, there's only 4 fragrances in this line. I'm sure there are going to be more coming soon, but all of these fragrances are based on cities that Nick traveled through or to, and these are the smells that inspired him from each city. I want to start with Brooklyn. So what do you think of when you think of Brooklyn? Do you think pizza? Do you think the smell of gasoline because there's bumper to bumper traffic? Do you think of nail salon? I mean, what do you think of when you think of Brooklyn? Here's the note breakdown of Brooklyn. We have bergamot, squeezed lemon and orange juice, incense, cardamom, fresh air and ozonic notes, magnolia, orris root, transparent flowers, musks, white woods, benzoin, and amber. As you can tell, there's a ton of things going on in here. Now, Brooklyn starts off very brilliant with the citrus notes of orange juice and lemon juice. And it's neat because this is more a juice than it is like the plant, which I actually like the thought of the juice because there's actually some sweetness and there's some tartness in juice. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to start the morning, right? Start your notes with orange juice or lemon juice. But then we get into some spices, which is interesting because you have the incense and cardamom. When I think of Brooklyn, I think of the variety of all the people that live there, the international vibe. You know, there's people from all around the world, and it's the melting pot. You know, when I think of the incense and the cardamom, I think of the fact that there's Middle Eastern influences as well, just slightly in there. A nice touch in this fragrance. It was really done well. And then of course you have some of the floral notes with the magnolia and the orris root and things like that. So it was a great fragrance too, and I'm not typically into that kind of fragrance, but I thought it was a great everyday nice, pleasant smell. On the next day, I went to Istanbul. And yes, Istanbul is a very, very awesome fragrance. In fact, spoiler alert, it is my favorite fragrance of the entire collection, and it is definitely in my top 10 of favorite fragrances ever. Nick, you are a genius. This thing is so amazing. I want liters of this stuff. It is so good, and it is so creamy, so decadent, so nice, and I love it. And this is the kind of fragrance that I totally gravitate towards. We start off with bergamot, cardamom, red thyme, lavender absolute, Egyptian geranium, patchouli heart, sweet myrrh, sandalwood. We also have musk, and last but not least, my favorite trilogy of ingredients, which is tonka bean, amber, and vanilla. So you can tell that with the dry down, it just goes into something really super sweet, nice, and very beautiful. Just a wonderful fragrance. You guys have to check this thing out. I'm telling you, Istanbul is the best of the best for me. You can purchase all of the Gallivant Stories from either Twisted Lily or Lucky Scent. If you're in any of those areas, either in New York or in LA area, definitely go and smell these fragrances. They're just really special, really nice. So you probably hear a lot of wind in the background. That's because we're having a storm right now. So yeah, it's raining really hard right now, so you're probably hearing some rain hit the windows. So let's move on to the next city, which is Tel Aviv, Israel, by the way. Let's talk about what's inside of Tel Aviv. We have clementine, bergamot, black currant, jasmine, sambac absolute, comoros, lang lang, rose oil, freesia, sandalwood, musks, deer's tongue absolute, and benzoin. So Tel Aviv was the more floral smelling perfume, and just to remind you, I'm not really into the floral fragrances. However, this fragrance was really pleasant, really nice. So if you're into the florals, I highly recommend this fragrance because it's just a beautiful, nice floral fragrance. And I like that nothing in this fragrance really stood out specifically. There wasn't anything that stood out that was just out of the ordinary, or just, it was just very well blended. And like I said, if you're into florals, this is a good springtime, great summer fragrance as well, great daytime fragrance. And again, all of these are unisex and eau de parfum. Definitely check this out if you're into the florals. Last but not least, we end our journey in London. London has cucumber in it, violet leaves, rose de mai, absolute, rose oil, orris root, leather, sandalwood, patchouli, and cedar. So this one was a woody, rosy smell. It wasn't too rosy though. It was more on the woody. I really did like the way this one went. This was my second favorite fragrance. So from the top down, my favorite was Istanbul, then London, then Brooklyn, then Tel Aviv. Very nice, woody, masculine actually. Even though it is unisex, it leans a little more masculine because of the woody notes with the cedar. Just a very pleasant smell. This would be great any time of the year, by the way. It's versatile any time of the day, any time of the year. Long lasting, by the way. All of these lasted for about 8 to 10 hours, eau de parfum. So the projection on these is not as high. These are not projection beasts. None of these were. Really do stay closer to the skin. These are a bit more like a skin scent. However, you do get a little bit of projection in the first hour of spraying. So you do notice it around you. The sillage is also there. But again, it is just within the first hour of spraying it. The rest of the time, it sticks very close to you, which is not a bad thing, because if you want somebody next to you, or if you want somebody to smell you, you have to approach them. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be closer to somebody because they smell good. So anyway, give these fragrances a shot. Show Nick Stewart some support. You can either order these through Lucky Scent or through Twisted Lily, so check them out there. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you have any comment, if you've tried these and you're just like, you want to tell me more about them, leave a comment below. I'm absolutely looking forward to talking to you guys. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And if anybody asks how you heard about Gallivant Stories, please tell them that Joe sent me. Take care and have a good day.